All right, welcome in everybody. Welcome into Shay, our Lions Walter Picks creator. Today we are going game by game, going through all of the starts and sits for week 6 of fantasy football. So I know, Shay, you got some guys over on the TikTok. We're going to bring some people over here on the YouTube as well, and we're going to go game by game. But before we go game by game, before we jump into it, are there any big players that you want to talk about for week 6, or should we dive right in with our first game, which is the Eagles versus Giants? So definitely some big players in there to talk about as well.
Man, I'm excited to dive into this Eagles game. I want to hear your take on, I feel like this Eagles offense at this point is just boom or bust. We don't know who's going to do well every single week. So I'm interested to hear your take on who you think's gonna boom this week.
It's definitely a tough matchup this week, or a tough matchup to predict this week, because we see that the Eagles, for example, Devonta Smith, he was the shining star in week 5. He had almost 20 fantasy points. He had 8 receptions, 114 yards, and 10 targets. So this was supposed to be the week that A.J. Brown finally got his, and he continued to have about the same amount of targets, but didn't show up. And Devonta Smith has had 20 points, and in between, he's absolutely hurt your team. Less than 5 points 2 times. This week, they're facing a Giants team, and the big concern here is that do they need to pass? They had a in-team meeting this week between Hurts, Saquon, and A.J. Brown. I think pretty much telling them to chill, man. Like, we're just trying to win games. Like, you're a big part of this team, whether you're getting the ball or not. And I'm not like super excited to sit either of them, but I'm also not super excited to start either one. Plus, it's Thursday night, so you're going to find out early in the week if you made the right or wrong decision. So for Devonta Smith, I feel like he looks like the guy you can start a little bit more against the Giants, someone that's been a little bit better. Again, coming off a 10-target game, he looked like the go-to guy, especially on those third downs in those game-defining moments. Devonta Smith was the guy, at least in week 5, but we know Pat Surtain was out there, and A.J. Brown was getting a lot of focus from the defense. But week 6, they'll probably try to get him some football, but I'm not excited about either one of these wide receivers. And I think if you've been benching them, I probably would continue to do so. And if you've been starting them, I'd probably continue to do so in week 6. What do you think, Shay?
Yeah, I mean, guys, for me, anytime one of these Eagles receivers has a big game, that's when they're a sell high for me. I don't want either of these guys on my team because, like you're saying, I don't feel confident starting either of these guys every single week. I don't think they're matchup proof. And it's just, if you go and look at their routes ran per game, for example, it fluctuates so much week to week. For me, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you have to start them if you have them on your team, because if you're in a 12-man format, for example, you probably don't have someone better to start over them. But I don't know. It's scary.
So we got a couple questions here from the chat, and welcome in, guys. If you just joined, make sure you hit that like button, help us out, get the live going. We're going to be answering your questions throughout the night and also asking some of your opinions. So I want to hear the opinion from the chat as well. We got a tough question here. We got David Montgomery, or Cam Skattebo, who we got to decide on Thursday Night Football. That question is from Carlos. So let's start with that one, Shay. And chat, let me know what you guys would do. Would you start Montgomery or Skattebo? I know Tyrone Tracy's supposed to be back, so Shay, we'll start with you. What do you think? Would you start Skattebo, or would you start with David Montgomery?
So I go over to Dave Montgomery's profile on the Walter Picks app, and really the shining light with Dave Montgomery, is he gonna get you a good day without a touchdown? No. But he's averaging 3.4 red zone carries per game right now. So if he converts on one of those attempts, then he's going to have at least 12 fantasy points more than likely. So for me, man, that is a super tough one. I'm interested to see how the split is between Scat and Tracy. Yeah. I think I would say Skattebo has the higher ceiling, Montgomery safer floor. So do with that what you will. I'd probably go Montgomery.
Yeah, we have an interesting in the start sit tool in the Walter Picks app here. We see Montgomery projected 11.7, Skattebo projected 12.5, boom probability slightly better for Skattebo and bust probability slightly lower. I kind of agree with that, just because Skattebo has been getting he's getting all the red zone work. Tyrone Tracy may be in there as well, but Skattebo's literally getting like all of the red zone work, and he's been getting some pass work as well. Tracy again will take some of his work. But I think that, yeah, you need Montgomery to score a touchdown. If he doesn't score a touchdown, he's just not going to be good. And I think Skattebo can be good without the touchdown. He should have a little bit more work. He's been a little bit more explosive on the ground. So I probably would go Skattebo on the Thursday night game. But, if David Montgomery, he's been scoring the touchdown. So I don't think you really can go wrong. I think they're both probably going to end up about the same place. But I do like the slightly better boom probability of Cam Skattebo. We got a couple. He says he's half PPR. Does that change it? Does that change if it's half PPR? I think Skattebo has good touchdown upside as well. I think both those guys are solid.
That definitely has the higher ceiling. So
yeah.
You got to shoot
So I
for
think
ceiling in fantasy.
even in there. And we had another question about the Giants receivers. Slayton, I think, is going to miss this game. Wan'Dale Robinson is really the standout player. I personally don't think he's a good play this week. I mean, Dart and Scatterboo, they run the ball like a crazy amount. If we go to Scatterboo's, we'll see how many carries he had in this game. He had 15 carries and only 51% of the rushing attempts. 15 carries is pretty good. He had 25 carries in week 4, and he had 60% of the rush attempts, meaning they're running the ball like crazy. I'll go to the team tab. Makes it really easy. Rushing attempts, that is definitely going up. So with Russell Wilson, the rushing attempts were lower, but with Jackson Dart the last 2 weeks, these rushing attempts are certainly going up. So something to watch out for there. Are you starting any of the wide receivers? Would you play Wan'Dale Robinson, or are you looking for other options?
I wouldn't play Wan'Dale, but I mean, he's technically not a wide receiver, but I like Theo Johnson. I think he's actually going to be the number one option in this passing attack. I think Theo Johnson's a sneaky little play, but no, Wan'Dale, I would be a little scared to start him.
Yeah, I'd agree. And we're gonna answer one more question here, guys, and then we're gonna jump into the next game, which is the Broncos versus Jets. Definitely some tough choices there, especially with Garrett Wilson, Pat Surtain. But we have the question: AJ Brown or Montgomery as a flex? And for me, I'm going David Montgomery. He's just been a little bit more consistent. What do you think, Shay? Would you go David Montgomery or AJ Brown?
Yeah, I think it depends on your matchup. You know, are you playing the best team in the league? Do you automatically have a 40% chance to win? Maybe you go AJ Brown, and then you just get lucky that he has the boom game.
Yeah.
But if you already have, let's say, a 55 or higher percent chance to win, go Dave Montgomery. He's way safer, and I feel a lot better about him.
Yeah, we'll jump into the next game here, guys. We had a full hour of coverage. We're going to be covering every single game. So I see some of the start sits here, like the Chargers running backs. We're going to get to that. We're going to cover every single game in this live. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. And by the way, guys, if you did come over from the Walter Picks app and you have not tried the premium features, there's a free trial in the Walter Picks app. You can use code LION to use Shay's code. You can use code NOBS to use my code. But either one will get you a free trial in the app. So make sure you give that a try as well. We had one more question about Devonta Smith. Dimitri, I think I'd go Devonta Smith over Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, I'd like to see one more good week. We're going to jump to Broncos and Jets here. The big story is, what do we do with Justin Fields, tougher matchup, and what do we do with Garrett Wilson? He's playing Pat Surtain. And for me personally, Pat Surtain has been locking people down. We can go over to Garrett Wilson in the Walter Picks app. And guys, this is the advantage. This is why you want to be using it. I'm going to type in Wilson here. We're going to look at Garrett Wilson. And we're going to go over to the matchup tab. So let's just show you every wide receiver the Broncos have faced so far. Look at all the green here. There's a little bit of green for the Chargers because, I mean, who do you cover on that team? And there's a little bit of green, Devonta Smith, but you see A.J. Brown, under 10 points. Jamar Chase, under 10 points. We see Michael Pittman Jr., he's been great, under 10 points. We see Calvin Ridley, under 10 points. I mean, the number one wide receiver, except the week where they played the Chargers, which could you say Quentin Johnson or Keenan Allen, they both had good weeks, have been under 10 fantasy points. So for me, I'm probably going to bench Garrett Wilson because he's consistently faced some good players. He faced the Eagles. He faced the Bengals. He faced the Colts. I mean, 3 teams with a wide receiver one that's been doing pretty good or has a lot of talent and capability. The wide receiver one's been bad. So I think Garrett Wilson is a bench. Personally, Breece Hall, you got to start. I'm not super excited about Justin Fields. And then on the Denver side of the ball, I think you can pretty much start everybody. Sutton, great start, even with Sauce Gardner. You have Dobbins, great start against the Jets. I think Bo Nix is solid as well. But, Shay, I think the question of the game is Garrett Wilson. Like, what's your projected points, I guess? Because that's probably going to help you the most for a start and sit. What's your projected points for Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, I would completely agree. I feel a lot more confident with starting Courtland Sutton. Man, Garrett Wilson just been great. I mean,
he has been great.
In a 12-man format, can you really bench Garrett Wilson? Like, who are you going to be choosing over him? You know what I mean? I mean, Garrett Wilson.
Stephon Diggs, maybe. Ted McMillan.
Yeah.
Like, those are the type of players, I think.
Over him this week. But my projected points would probably be around 12. I think they're still going to get him involved. He's still going to see 8+ targets, you know? But yeah, it's going to be tough with PS2 on him for sure.
And we got 39 people in the chat, guys. If you guys, let me know what you would say. We got Kendall saying 99% of teams don't have the luxury of benching Garrett Wilson. Be realistic, please. Kendall, I mean, I think that's a fair opinion. Drop your opinion down below in the comments. The one thing, again, I'll point out here, guys, is that, like, could you afford to bench Michael Pittman Jr.? Yes, he scored 8 points. Could you afford to bench Jamar Chase? Yes, he scored 7 points. Could you afford to bench A.J. Brown? Yes, he scored under 10 points, right? So this, like, realistically, like, you know, and that's my my kind of rebuttal back is realistically, you should have benched pretty much over half the, like 4 out of 5 weeks. You should have benched the wide receiver 1 against the Broncos, just like last year as well. So that's just, just want to call that out as well, that these guys have been actively hurting your team. But I do understand the sentiment there. Wilson always a start. Yeah, we'll have to come back and see how he does. But I am concerned. I honestly would think about sitting him because last year as well, Mike Evans, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, didn't matter who it was. Pat Surtain shut him down. They were terrible for fantasy football every single week. Great questions, though, guys. Appreciate the comments here. It looks like the chat is outnumbering us a little bit. And welcome in, guys. We just got the push from the Walter Picks app. If you guys join from the Walter Picks app and you have not tried the premium features yet, the prop evaluator, the premium trade features, try a free trial. Use code LION, use code NOBS. Either one of those will get you a free trial in the app, and you can try it for 7 days. So pretty awesome. We're going game by game here, and the next game we're going to talk about is the Cardinals and the Colts. So huge game. So Shay, I just want you to kind of start off with: are you starting Michael Carter this week? We've got him as RB19 in the app. What are you doing with Michael Carter?
Yeah, I would feel pretty comfortable with him as my RB2 in a 12-man format. I think he offers a good amount of PPR upside as well. If I'm not mistaken, he had 5 targets last week. He had a 33% targets per route run. He seems like the dude in this backfield now. I think, DeMarcado is still going to be involved. What's his name? Bam Knight? Is that his name? Bam Knight?
Yep.
Bam Knight's still going to get some touches, but I think Carter's the guy, and I would be comfortable starting him as an RB2 or a flex.
Yeah, I think Michael Carter's a great start this week, guys. The other player I want to talk to you about, and this one is scary because I've been saying to bench him 2 weeks in a row, and I've been wrong. And we're talking about benching Garrett Wilson because, hey, if you've got the luxury, not many people have been good. Only the Chargers have been good against the Broncos. Marvin Harrison Jr. is facing a Colts team where he's been good the last 2 weeks. Good for fantasy football, at least. We go to the matchup tab. The wide receiver 1 against the Colts, I think everybody has been a complete bench. Week 1, Tyreek Hill, 8 points. Week 2, Cortland Sutton, who's been crushing, under 2 points. Calvin Ridley, under 4 points. You can't stop Puka Nacua, so I'm going to kind of give him the pass on that one. And then week 5, Jacoby Myers, under 10 points. So would you play Marvin Harrison Jr. this week? The Colts, they've been taking away the wide receiver 1, including guys like Cortland Sutton, all season long. So can you trust Marvin Harrison Jr. this week, even though he's been kind of stepping it up lately?
Here's my only rebuttal with that. I don't really view Marvin Harrison Jr. as the number 1 option in this passing attack. I think it's Trey McBride. And if we look at the matchup tab, week 2, Troy Franklin, the wide receiver 2, kind of the wide receiver 3, went off. So for me, and then Trey Tucker did better than Jacoby Myers in week 5. For me, I could see Marvin Harrison still having a decent game. I'm not loving the matchup in any way, but I do think the game plan is going to be to shut down Trey McBride, really. But yeah, I'm not loving it. I feel like Michael Carter, for example, has a safer floor than Marv for sure this week.
Yeah, I would agree there. And guys, let us know in the chat. We want to hear from you guys. That's one thing I'm trying to work on this week that I haven't done the best job in the live. This is your live as well. So I know there's a lot of start-sit questions, guys. We're going to answer each one. We're going to go through every single game. We're going to take some time to answer some questions in the comments as well. But as we're going through these players, let us know what you think for these questions. Would you start Marvin Harrison Jr. this year? Or even better, drop your points prediction for Marvin Harrison Jr. in the chat. Let's see what you guys think. I'm going to predict 9 points. So I personally think he's a sit. I think the Colts, they take away the wide receiver 1. I know Trey McBride is the top receiver in the offense. I agree with that, but it's a lot harder to stop and shut down a tight end who can start blocking and then break out late. So I'm interested to see what you guys think. We got Isles says 13 points. He thinks he's a decent start. Trevor says he stinks. Let's see who else we got. What other comments we got? Alejandro says 17 points, so he thinks he's a great start this week. Let's do one more. We got anybody else in here for what your prediction is for Marvin Harrison Jr. And then we're going to jump into the next game because the Colts, I think we know who we're starting kind of across the board. And we're going to jump into the next game. I don't see too many questions about it. And this is the one a lot of you guys are asking about: Chargers and Dolphins. So Shay, what do you think? Are you going Vidal or are you going Haskins? Can you trust whoever you think? Are you going to start them? Let me know what you think.
So for me, I definitely had a lot of waiver claims out for both of them this week. I was a heavy Hampton drafter. For me, I feel more excited about Kamani Vidal. I think he's the far more explosive back, the far more talented back. Hassan Haskins, let's be real. I don't think he's going to be doing anything crazy. He's going to need a ton of touches to be relevant for fantasy. And I kind of think this backfield is going to be split down the middle with Vidal getting the receiving work. But we saw Vidal in for a couple goal line carries. I would lean Vidal.
I think I've been leaning a little bit more on Haskins just because he's kind of had a little bit more snaps throughout the season. That's where I go with, like, you look at the week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. He had 14 snaps. Vidal had 2, I think, for the whole season. So they just trusted him to be on the field a little bit more. So that's kind of what I've been keen in on. But when it comes to their talent and their ability, Vidal's the pass catching back and he's more explosive. So that's definitely an advantage. And if he starts to have that hot hand, he's just going to take over. Haskins, like you said, both of them are struggling a little bit. I think Haskins will be kind of the leader in there. Someone they probably trust a little bit more. I would assume doing a little bit more blocking. He's almost 230 pounds. He's 6'2". He's a big back. He's going to be the goal line guy. So that's why I've been leading Haskins a little bit. But if someone takes over this backfield over the next 4 weeks and starts to dominate for fantasy football, I think it would be Vidal. So it's going to be interesting to see what you guys think. We got, let's see here. Alejandro says he picked up Haskins. We got Ladd or Michael Carter. Aaron says, I think I would go with Michael Carter, a little bit safer floor. And we saw DeMercado really kind of hurt his chances to be a big part of this offense. I think he'll get a few touches. But I would go with Michael Carter. Would you agree with that, Shay?
Completely agree with that. Completely. I mean, I hate to say it, but Ladd McConkey is the third option in this passing game, pretty comfortably behind Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, let us know what you guys would do, though. That is a tough one. Michael Carter or Ladd McConkey. Let me know. Let's see here. We got Isles is on the pulse on this, and he's letting us know what he thinks. I appreciate that, guys. We're going to be definitely checking. We're going to be going game by game, guys, and talking about it here. But I want to know what you guys think about each one. Bush says he's go with Ladd. Keenan or Bill Krosky-Merritt? That's a good start-sit question. I think I'd go Bill Krosky-Merritt. We will look at that game in a minute where we're going to go into Bill Krosky-Merritt's game log, so stick around for that. But I know Keenan Allen is in this game as well. I think Keenan Allen, he's about 12, 13-point guy. I'm going to jump over to his game log because it started off the season pretty impressive. And it's kind of dropped down the board a little bit as we've gone. We started off, 19, 17, 19, 8, and 10. He just hasn't scored the touchdown. I mean, that's the kind of the bottom line. The yardage hasn't been amazing. The catches haven't been amazing. So I think I would go Bill Krosky-Merritt this week. The snaps haven't been great either. His route rate hasn't been great. All of the Chargers kind of had a lower route rate in this game. It was just an odd game. But yeah, it's just not the best. 9 targets is great, though. So that is something to look for. But I think Bill Krosky-Merritt is the play. Are you trusting Bill Krosky-Merritt? We're going to talk about him later, but over Keenan Allen?
I will say I think it's very close between them.
Okay.
Yes, Keenan Allen isn't getting the snaps, but he's leading the team in targets per route run. Like when he is on the field, he's getting the ball because Justin Herbert, we know the connection they have. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for the Commanders to not give Bill, the keys to this backfield this week. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he averaged well over 7 yards per carry last week.
Yeah, he was great. He was great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an NFL coach, but I see a guy average 7 yards per carry. I'm going to give him the ball a ton the next week. So, and now he gets an amazing matchup against the Bears, where if we go over to the matchup tab.
He's against Miami. We'll get to that game. Yeah. We'll look into Bill a little bit later. But at Ladd, guys, the other thing I want to talk about Ladd is we look at his everything except the fantasy points, and it just wasn't that good. The targets are about the same as always. The route rate was actually a little bit lower. So just something to watch out for there, that even though he scored some good points, not maybe someone you want to trust. We got one more question, Haskins or Henderson? And then we're going to jump to the next game, guys. We're going to talk about everybody. But Haskin or Trevion Henderson, that's a tough one for me. I think both everybody's a big risk. But with the way that Antonio Gibson is out for the year, essentially, with the ACL injury. So I think I'd go Henderson. Patriots, I think, are scoring a little bit more points. Their O-line's looking a little bit better. And Ramondre, he did get the touchdowns, but they are going to have to share a little bit more. Henderson doesn't look great, to be honest. But I probably would go Henderson. And appreciate you, John. If you guys could hit that appreciate it. Let's jump into that next game here. Because it is the Patriots. And the Dolphins, I think we're starting everybody. Darren Waller, by the way, guys, great start. We got Patriots versus Saints. Not too many start-sit questions in here, so I guess Shay, what's your breakdown on this Patriots backfield?
Man, I mean, I want Henderson to look so good. I drafted him in a lot of leagues. I was super excited about him, but like you said, he hasn't looked that good. And I mean, I just don't understand how Ramondre fumbled twice last game.
I think so.
It's still not really
at least once.
they want to shrink his role a ton. For me, I would be very scared to start Henderson, but I think this is a big week to be able to tell his rest of season outlook for sure. Like how he does this week will determine a lot.
Yeah, and you look at the schedule, it is very, very positive. So these Patriots, if Ramondre could be a good add for the fantasy playoffs. He faces Buffalo, Baltimore, and the Jets. Schedule is pretty easy. They got 2 tough matchups here against Cleveland and Atlanta, but other than that, the Patriots have an amazing schedule. So I think I would lean Henderson for the upside, but know there's a chance he drops 4 points. So that's a tough one here. Diggs comes up. Good question from Trevor. Trade Keenan Allen for Diggs. I would do that. Diggs, he's coming off an injury. So we're giving him kind of a bit of a break to start the season. But I think he's been solid. He's showing up. He's dominating the last 2 weeks. Over 100 yards the last 2 weeks. And against some pretty tough competition. That's the other amazing piece. Are you buying Diggs, Shay? Like right now he's a buy high, but are you willing to pay?
I am 100% willing to pay. Stephon Diggs looks like he didn't miss a step. And yes, I am for sure doing Keenan Allen for Diggs. I mean, yeah, his snap share has increased every single week. I think it's only going to continue to go up. Like last week, guys, he put up 24 fantasy points and 10 catches against the Bills, and he still only had a 50%
snap rate. Yeah,
like that incredible. Is insane. And he was, I saw something. He was the first Patriots wide receiver since Julian Edelman in 2019 to have back-to-back 100-yard games. I think he's the clear alpha for this team, and Drake May is going to keep feeding him the football.
Yeah, for sure. He's open, and he's out there. He's running routes, and they're just like every time he runs a route, we've got to get this guy the ball. So that's pretty awesome. Aaron says Derrick Henry or Ladd McConkey. I'd go Derrick Henry. Not expecting a huge game, but Lamar may play as well, which would be great for Derrick Henry. But we'll see about that. Good questions, guys. And if you do have questions, guys, drop them in the comments. But we're trying to go game by game. We got a lot more to cover here. The next game is the Browns versus the Steelers. And I do want to talk a little bit of Quidshot Judkins. We got to talk a little bit of the Steelers running back as well. But Judkins, he's a player I'm trying to trade for, guys. He doesn't ever have to play the Browns defense. That's really the only team that may be to stop him. And check out this schedule. I need to send some trades right after this video for Quidshot Judkins. He faces Chicago, Buffalo, Pittsburgh in the playoffs. He's been crushing against good teams like Green Bay and Detroit. This is a player I think everybody should be trading for. Shay, what do you think is a running back that's on his level? Like, what do you think is like a who's been in the league a while that you think is about equal to Judkins in terms of fantasy football value?
I mean, at this point, I would feel very comfortable trading Derrick Henry for Quidshot Judkins.
That's the exact trade I'm going to try.
I would do that. If you could, Jordan Mason has been putting together some decent weeks. I think you could maybe package Jordan Mason and a high upside receiver.
I think that's a good move. Definitely have to add somebody else there.
Or a JMO for Judkins, something like that. But yeah, that type of range I think is worth it. I think Judkins is a borderline top 8 running back rest of the season, especially looking at that schedule.
Yeah, it certainly looks good. What about Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs is tough for me.
He's been good.
I view that as a lateral move. I think they're kind of similar backs in that neither of them have a ton of receiving upside, but I would actually say Judkins has more receiving upside. It's just Josh Jacobs has a much higher snap share. So for me, I kind of view that as a lateral move.
Yeah, I think, and then for the Browns, Njoku was also great last week. He was a drop candidate, and then all of a sudden they switched to Dylan Gabriel. I do think the Steelers have some pretty fast running backs, so that they may be able to do a good job in this game. But he had 9 targets, so I'm definitely starting Njoku. And we got Dylan. Great question, Dylan. And guys, I want you to help Dylan out in the comments. Njoku or Waller this week? It's tough because Waller's been awesome. I think he's got a good matchup as well. I think I'm just going to go Njoku, though, because we're seeing some additional volume. It is more risky, but I think against the Steelers, who haven't been great against the tight end so far, I would be playing Njoku this week, especially coming off a 9-target performance. Shay, would you go Njoku or Waller? I think both are great. I don't think you can make a wrong decision, but who would you go with?
I'd agree. I think both of them I feel very comfortable starting. But, I mean, no hate to Dylan Gabriel. It looked like he was afraid to throw the ball more than 10 yards down.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, he doesn't want to lose his job.
Yeah, of course. Which led to a lot of targets to both Njoku and then in the first half, Fannin. I also think Fannin is a sneaky little start.
He could be. He only had 13 yards. That's like my one concern.
Yeah.
He also was throwing to Isaiah Bond quite a bit, which I was nervous about in our matchup in the 32-team league. Unfortunately, I did take the L there, but the Browns players did not help you at all. Judy nor Isaiah Bond completely let you down there. For the Steelers, DK Metcalf, I had on the avoids list for this week. playing a Browns team. I don't think they're going to be scoring a lot of points, the Steelers. He has been all right. Like, I think 11 points is the floor against Seattle. Like, he's had a touchdown the last 3 weeks, so he's been the key red zone target. Cleveland's about an even matchup, actually one of the best matchups they've had all year for wide receivers. But last week he had 5 catches, 80 yards, and his touchdown were on one play. So other than that, he had 4 catches and 40 yards. I don't know, and let's give him another catch. Like, he would have hit about 12, 13 points if it was like a normal catch. If he didn't break it off for the full touchdown, he has another 12 points last week against the Vikings. So I think if you're happy with that, you can start him. He definitely has some additional upside from there. But Shay, are you starting DK Metcalf? Is he someone that like you're prioritizing, or someone's like, I guess so?
I haven't been in on DK Metcalf all year.
Yeah, same.
It's no different this week. I actually have him as a must sit on the TikTok live as well. It's just because look at week 2 and week 3. You take away that touchdown, he has less than 4 points, 3 points.
Yeah.
And same last week. I mean, yes, he had that big run that helped a ton, but they're just not utilizing him how I think DK Metcalf should be utilized. Downfield, deep ball guy. I mean, he's the wide receiver 84 in reception air yards per game, and it's because they're using him as a yard after the catch guy. So for me, I think he's a sit.
Yeah, we got a question here. Wyatt asks, Darren Waller or Mason Taylor? These are both teams we've already talked about, guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you always have so you're always joining at the beginning here. But I think I would go Mason Taylor. And Waller, I heard, is questionable. Ant says he's questionable, so I'm trusting the YouTube chat on that one. But Shay, would you go Waller or Mason Taylor?
I like them both. I think I have to go Mason Taylor. I mean, he had 12 targets last week.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kind of just blowing up over the last 2 weeks. I think Mason Taylor.
All right, I'm gonna give a quick sidebar challenge here. I'm gonna see, Shay, how many tight ends do you have above Mason Taylor this week? So I'm gonna go into the fantasy points per game for the tight ends, so we can look at who's been dominating so far. How many tight ends here do you have above Mason Taylor? So let's start with Jake Ferguson or Mason Taylor.
Is this for rest of the season or this
for
week?
Just this week? Just this week.
Jake Ferguson for sure.
Okay, let's go to Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren still for sure.
Okay, I figured so. Trey McBride.
I think still Trey McBride. I think he has the floor for any tight end.
Now, is there Dalton Kincaid?
Man, I like Dalton Kincaid. He's
been pretty good.
Yeah, he's I believe the tight end 2 right now, which is
tight end 3. Yeah, tight end 3 here.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a tough one. It's kind of
he's been pretty good.
He's been really good.
Been really good, yeah.
Man,
I think especially against Atlanta, he's facing the number 1 tight end defense here.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Tough matchup. Think I'm going Mason Taylor just this week, but rest of the season, I think I'm still leaning Kincaid. I mean, his rookie year he was great. Last year he was banged up, so we've really only seen 1 season of Kincaid. And when he's been on the field, he gets targeted at a super high rate. It's just about his snap share has never really been above 60% because of Dawson Knox. Yeah.
We got this question here. Simon says, can we trust Igbuka as top 5 rest of season? It's definitely a bold take, Simon. Definitely a bold take. Luke says start Igbuka or Worthy. You're definitely starting Igbuka. Worthy, I like him a lot. I've got Worthy as a start, but Igbuka is such a strong start. He's not in any of my start-sit videos because you are just locking him in. Is Igbuka top 5 rest of the season? I'll let you start with this one, Shay, and I'll bring up his game log.
I'm not going to be the guy to say no. I mean,
yeah, I feel like that's got to be the answer.
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be the answer. Look at this game, 163 yards and a touchdown. I mean, against Seattle, they didn't have Devin Witherspoon. That's what I want to call out, guys. You always want to be checking, and we talked about that in our TikToks, in our YouTubes. That's why you want to be subscribed here. You want to be subscribed on TikTok because we look at the actual defensive matchups. Nobody else really is doing that. Most people, some people are, but most of the other big pages are not looking at the defense. They're just giving you the offense and just moving on. But looking at who's injured is so important in these games. The same thing we said for JSN, one of the best cornerback matchups as well. Both those guys crushed. We're going to be talking about them more this week. But I think Igbuka could be top 5 rest of the season. I really do. Evans, look at the schedule is brutal. It really is brutal. But he's been good against some tough teams already. So I don't know if this schedule, guys, again, just focusing down in this section in the fantasy playoffs, Atlanta, who he did great against already. He did have 2 touchdowns on 4 catches, so I don't know about that. Carolina, Miami, that's rough. It's rough for Igbuka, but I still think he could be top 5, at least top 10. I wouldn't trade him away for sure. And he was someone I did say to trade away at the start of the season because I was like, hey, Evans is going to come back, Godwin's going to come back, and he's going to be like in a 3-man group here. But when people just keep dropping out and getting hurt, now he's had the chance to really establish himself even more. So perfect start to a rookie season, I think. And definitely a great play. Let's jump to the next game, guys. And guys, we're trying to go game by game. We're halfway through, and we still have a few games to go here. The next game is going to be the Cowboys and the Panthers. So first question, Shay, it looks like Chuba Hubbard, he did not practice today. Are you starting Dowdle in the revenge game? And if so, how high will you go? We have Chuba Hubbard out in the Walter Picks app. We have Dowdle as RB7. That's starting to him over pretty much everybody in your league. There's a few players like I can think of off the top of my head. Josh Jacobs, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Achane. Who else is better than Rico Dowdle this week if Chuba Hubbard is out?
Man, for me, I would say Rico Dowdle, him being the RB7 is extremely fair, especially if Chuba Hubbard is out, which it's looking like he's going to be.
Yeah.
And then, you got to love the revenge game. Look at Stephon Diggs.
You got to love the revenge game.
For the culture, you got to be starting him, even if
19 points projected. And I don't hate it at all. The Cowboys have been terrible. And you know for a fact that these offensive linemen are, they are itching to get Rico Dowdle a touchdown. They are itching to have him dominate this game and just, look at his former team and say, screw you guys. Like, you shouldn't have let me go. Take this. And Javante's been good, so let's just be honest. The Cowboys are looking good on offense. They're doing a great job. Javante's an amazing fit. It's working really well for the Cowboys. So I'm not hating on them, but the revenge game still, he's got to have some excitement here. Let's just answer this one. Alvaro says Debo for Judkins. I would definitely do that. Debo's been boosted up because Judkins has been because McLaurin has been out. Good question there.
Yeah, go hop off the live, accept that right now. And
then go accept that right now. Come back. Please come back. But that's all right. We got Pollard or Jordan Mason. We already talked about no, I think we're getting to both those games. So we're going to talk about that. The Vikings are on bye. My man. So definitely Pollard this week. Definitely Pollard. Should I trade London or Odunze for Judkins? I think I would do that as well, since you said you have good other receivers. A good question. The other thing I want to talk about in this game is Ted McMillan. I think he's a great start this week as well. We've got his wide receiver 6. That seems a little bit high, but I will say, let's go over to the matchup tab, guys. This is why you need the Walter Picks app, by the way. If you guys have not tried the premium features, use code LION or use code NOBS, and you guys will get that free trial every time. It's 7-day free trial, so you can try all the best features. Wow. Look at how wide receivers have been performing against this team. 37 and 28. That was one game for the Giants there. We had Rome Odunze have a nice week. We had Luther Burden, and Luther Burden had a nice week. Romeo Doubs had 30 points. And then Garrett Wilson last week dropped 20 points. Ted McMillan, you got to start him this week. I feel like he's a must start. And maybe a good pick in a DFS kind of lineup away, because he's probably a little bit cheaper just because he hasn't been going crazy so far. But you look at his targets so far this year, he's 11th in targets in the entire NFL. So I think this week against Dallas, it's a great play. What do you think, Shay? Are you starting him over? Essentially, you're going to be benching some good players for Ted McMillan. Are you willing to do that? Or do you think Ted McMillan, hey, this is maybe a little bit high. The 14, 16 points is doable, but I'm not benching anybody crazy.
This matchup could not be any more scrumptious than it is. It's tough to bench him, guys. I think you need to be sending offers for Teddy McMillan before Sunday, because I think after Sunday, his value is going to be a lot higher. I think he's about to go off.
And we got this question here. Do I try to get rid of Pickens before Ceedee comes back? And if so, who do I target? Yeah, trade for Ted McMillan. That could be a great starter trade. I think trading away Pickens, I've been kind of saying to trade him away all season. Now, after Ceedee got hurt, it's like, okay, yeah, he's going to be good for a little bit. But last game, he wasn't that good. He wasn't the best Cowboys receiver. He only had 4 targets, I think. It was pretty poor performance from Pickens. And you watch the game, he just doesn't try that hard. He had 2 catches. Thankfully, he had a big, long touchdown pass. That was like his whole fantasy points. This is your moment. This 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns in 5 games, that is not going to continue, guys. that is just not going to continue. And you look at the schedule, fantasy football playoffs, brutal. Are you getting to a championship with this guy on your roster? I don't think so, when you have to go through Minnesota and the Chargers as well. Ceedee Lamb will be back too, so I would definitely try to trade away someone like Quitshad Junkins. I would definitely go for him. That'd be a huge win. But trade for Ted McMillan, trade for Stephon Diggs. I think getting rid of Pickens now is a great call.
And I think another realistic target could be Zay Flowers. Right now you could buy him
that's a good target.
Coming off the Cooper Rush start. More than likely, Cooper's going to start again this week. You can buy Flowers for low. I think Pickens is a realistic trade target for Flowers.
And then is there anybody else on the Cowboys we need to consider? We had Ryan Fournette, who you may have picked up off the waiver wire. I think you can go for it this week. Jake Ferguson must start, I think, over everybody. Even if you have an elite side like McBride, you got to flex Jake Ferguson. And if you do have both, look for someone in your league that needs a tight end and trade them for a top-tier guy. That's the play for sure. The Panthers and the Cowboys are 2-2. The Panthers are 2-3. Of course, the Cowboys have that tie. So it's going to be an interesting game, and it is in Carolina. So excited for the Panthers in this game. Excited for Rico Dowdle. That's actually going to be a game I probably tune in to try to watch just because of that narrative there. The next game is Seahawks versus Jaguars. And we both know A.J. Barner had a huge game last week. Had to play against him in the 32-man league. But what else is going on in this game? We have the Jaguars. I think I want to look at Brian Thomas Jr. And I think we want to look at Brian Thomas Jr. and I want to look at Ken Walker. Because Brian Thomas Jr., he had some nice plays in this game, but only 4 catches. That's kind of the problem here. 4 catches, 6 targets. He had good snap percentage, good route rate, 100% route rate. Pretty crazy stuff. But they're really spreading the ball around in this Jaguars offense. You saw, what was his name? He played for the Lions last year. Tim Patrick, I believe it is, had a catch. De'Ami Brown has targets. Parker Washington has targets. I don't know if you need to play Brian Thomas Jr. It's a tough matchup, especially if Devin Witherspoon is back. I'd probably bench Brian Thomas Jr. this week, guys. Shay, are you comfortable benching Brian Thomas Jr. with Devin Witherspoon back? Or are you saying, hey, he's an elite player, he's going to turn it around, it's been looking a little bit better? What would you do?
I'm kind of losing hope on BTJ. For example, I'm starting Ted McMillan pretty comfortably.
For sure. BTJ. Yeah, no doubt on that one.
I don't know. Now with Devon Witherspoon coming back, I don't know. I think this is kind of just what we're going to see from BTJ. He's going to need a touchdown. He hasn't seen the touchdown production. If he gets a touchdown in this game, we could see BTJ, but I don't know. I'm comfortably sitting.
Simon says, who do I trade? Brian Thomas Jr. for? I would look for someone in your league that maybe, oh man, you have to find the person in your league that may value name value. That is maybe thinks they're smarter than they are. That's the kind of person I think really wants to trade for Brian Thomas Jr. Someone that's trying to prove a point, and someone that's trying to be someone that's trying to look back at the end of the season and say, I got Brian Thomas Jr. at a huge steal. I'm super great at fantasy football. So I might go for someone like Stephon Diggs, someone that's been performing that someone got for super cheap that didn't start the season as strong. That's kind of where I would go. Does anyone pop into your head, Shay, as someone that you'd start with that also could be accepted for Brian Thomas Jr.?
I would definitely, if you're going for Diggs, I think the starting offer should 100% include another very good piece. And I think that's still feasible. Another option I think is Chris Olave. He's had only one game. That. He's had only one game under 10 targets. They're getting him super involved.
Yeah. Not 10 points, 10 targets.
10 targets. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
He's in the most pass heavy. Let's look at the team tab. Dang it, they're actually not as pass heavy as I thought.
It's all going to Olave.
It's just all going to Olave. But I think that's a realistic target. And I think, if you're really going for someone off name value that values it, you could probably get Olave and another high upside piece. I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. And I do want to call out this one as well. Kenneth Walker or Jaylen Warren. I personally would go Jaylen Warren. We are going to talk about Kenneth Walker, though. Would you go Jaylen Warren, Shay?
I would for sure go Jaylen Warren. I am super big on him. And yes, he is coming off the knee injury. He had a bye week to rest up. And I think you're crazy if you think Kenneth Gainwell is now all of a sudden going to eat into
I agree.
Yeah. So I like Jaylen Warren a lot.
So I want to talk a little bit about Kenneth Walker, guys, because I think he's someone you should be trading for sure. We look at the games here. He's had not the best week 1, but week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. The yardage has been pretty good in every game except against the Saints, where he did pretty well. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, but he had 105 against the Steelers, 81 against the Cardinals, 86 against Tampa Bay on 10 carries. This was a game where they absolutely had to pass. I think Ken Walker, you look at the schedule, it is brutal. It really is. But how many of these teams are going to race out ahead and force the Seahawks to pass? The Seahawks want to run the football. Sam Darnold cannot. Tampa Bay has been struggling against the pass. They that's a team that you want to face. But these other teams are not going to get way ahead of Seattle. They're going to try to run the football. So I think I'd be trading for Ken Walker. You can buy him pretty cheap right now. What do you think, Shay? Do you think, hey, this is a tough schedule? Do you think he's someone that can start getting you back to like 13, 14 points? Or do you think what we've been seeing is like, hey, 86 yards, no touchdown, you're screwed? What do you think about Ken Walker?
I completely agree. I do think he's a buy. It's just a confusing situation. We see Clint Kubiak coming in. We saw how involved Kenneth Walker was in the passing game last year. We thought, oh, Kenneth Walker is going to be super involved in the passing game. And he really hasn't. But I think it's only a matter of time until he, starts out-touching Zach Charbonnet. Because I believe last week he doubled Zach Charbonnet's yards per carry and total yards on half the touches. Like that's insane. So I think it's only a matter of time until he starts getting more touches. If not, then I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking back there.
Yeah, I think that's a good call here. And we got someone saying, what's a good flex I can get for Ken Walker and Brock Bowers? Guys, the key to trading players like Brock Bowers, like Ken Walker, people always ask, what can I get for this? Who can I get for that? The answer is, I don't know. You have to sync your league to the Walter Picks app and find out who. You can go to the My League tab, and you guys can all do it with a free trial, with code LION, with code NOBS. It'll get you that free trial for 1 week. You go to the My Team tab. It'll show you who's weakest at each position. Go into your league, find the person that's weakest at tight end, and try to trade in Brock Bowers. And try to say, hey, Brock Bowers and Ken Walker, give me your best running back. That's where I'd start. Give me your best wide receiver. Maybe if they Bajan or Jonathan Taylor, they won't do it. But if their best running back is Quinshon Judkins, yeah, that'd be a steal. You highly upgrade your running back. If they have Mason Taylor, go for the guy that has Mason Taylor. Trade him Brock Bowers, trade him Ken Walker, get Mason Taylor, and a better running back. Maybe you're even upgrading your tight end slot as well. Mason Taylor looks awesome. So that's how you want to trade. Always go to your league and find the person that needs that position, because that's how you're going to get the most value. I don't think there's too much here. Trevor, you can use code LION. You can use code NOBS. It is up to you. Kevin, same thing. I appreciate it, Trevor. And I'll show you guys what that looks like here. I've got my my personal league here. So what I would do is go into my team. I'm doing pretty good in this league as well. I've got Saquon. I've got Cortland Sutton. I've got Tyler Warren. I've got Drake London. 2 QB league. Justin Fields. Dak Prescott showing up for me. All you got to do, I hit trade. You can do the trade finder, or you can do the trade analyzer. And you can find someone in your league that has a bad matchup. So I could do this. I could do, what does Chase Brown and Derrick Henry look like to get Josh Jacobs? Let's see what that looks like. I think Josh Jacobs is going to be awesome. So it's a slight advantage. Actually would give me some additional points here because I could put Chase Brown on the bench and I could bring someone up off my bench. So the Walter Picks app tells me how much it's going to help me week 6, how much it's going to help me in the fantasy playoffs, and how much it's going to help me rest of the season. So this actually may be a trade I try to send. I actually think this would be a good move for me. And that makes it so easy in the Walter Picks app just to check it out and analyze these trades. And again, guys, this will not show unless you have the free trial or the premium. So make sure you try that out. Again, use code LION, support Shay. You can use code NOBS as well. Either one of those will get you that free trial to give this a try, because it's just a helpful tool to that changes the game just a little bit to give you an advantage. So I'm going to head back. I'm going to desync the league because that's half PPR. We want to kind of look at some full PPR stats here. But I'm going to head over to the start sit tool again, and we're going to jump into our next game, which is the Rams and the Ravens. So I want to start. We got to start, like I just talked about, Derrick Henry. I'm not loving what we're seeing, but I will say you got to look at the schedule. He's played some of the toughest run defenses in the whole league so far, and then he plays a very easy schedule. Chicago, Miami, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati again. He does have New England and Green Bay in the playoff, but if he can get it rolling by that time, I think he'll be fine. But Shay, what are you doing with Derrick Henry? Are you trying to wait till he has this big week against Chicago and then maybe try to trade him away? Or are you trying to trade him away now before he continues to suffer and kill your team?
Here's what I will say. I don't think he's startable until Lamar Jackson's back. So just take that into consideration. But I do think he still holds a ton of name value. And I still think you can go up to that guy in your league who values names and values buying low and send him some offers for Derrick Henry. Like, I still think Quinshon Judkins you could get for Derrick Henry in most leagues.
I'm certainly going to try later today. I'm also going to send that Josh Jacobs trade. The Walter Picks app, like, it tells me I'm good, and I am on the projections team, so I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good. I think that's a good call out. What do you think about this one, Shay? Would you start Derrick Henry or Michael Carter?
Oh my! Who would have thought 5 weeks ago?
I know. What a crazy turn of events here.
Carter. And the crazy thing is, I'm going to say Michael Carter.
Yeah, it's agreed. It is crazy, but that's what I would do. So great question, Tane. I appreciate that. And then we did see another one. I did want to talk about this one. William Wade, WW, traded Igbuka for Rice. Was this a bad decision? I don't know. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say it was a bad decision. Because when we look at what Rashee Rice was doing last year, and Evans will eventually be back. Like Igbuka, it just has to get a little bit worse. Will he be top 5? Maybe not top 5. Will he be top 12? He could still be top 12, but Rice could be top 1. That's how good Rashee Rice is going to be. Look at the Walter Picks projections. We got him for 20 points, 27. We got him for 27 points against Dallas, which is insane. But I'll go to last year's game log, guys, and I'll show you William. I mean, look at what we saw last year. 7, 5, and 12, touchdowns, 29 points against Atlanta last year. He did get hurt week 4. The targets, 14 targets, 9 targets. Xavier Worthy does his thing, but they need Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce's a little bit washed. He had a pretty good game, but he's old, he's slow, and Rashee Rice, he's coming back off of the suspension. He's back from the injury, so it's giving him even more time to recover. He's going to crush. So I don't think you can trade anybody for Rice and it be a bad decision. I honestly don't think, anybody in the league, maybe not Christian McCaffrey, maybe not Jonathan Taylor, but anybody else in the league, if you're saying I'm going for Rice, he's got one more week out, I'm going for it, I'm not going to tell you that's bad. I don't know, Shay, what do you think? Are you in on Rice, or do you think there's some risk here?
Quick shout out to Tane Dry. He says, you guys are so awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Tane. Here's my thing. I think it depends on your record. I think that is the biggest thing. So, William, I'm interested. What is your record? Because if you're, let's say, 4-1, I like the move to trade.
He probably is. He's got Igbuka, so he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I'm in a couple leagues. I have Igbuka. I'm not doing too hot. But the only thing is, I think there's a chance that Rashee Rice, the first couple weeks, he starts slow. He is coming off a torn ACL. I know he has had a ton of time with the suspension to ramp back up, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we see Rashee Rice's snap share start at around a 50% and move up. Fair. So, I mean, you really may not see him be this top 3, top 5 guy until after the week 10 bye. So that's the one thing.
That would hurt. That would certainly hurt because I traded for him.
Exactly. So for me, I'm probably keeping it in Igbuka. I mean, yes, he's gonna have.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't disagree.
The rookie of the year right now, pretty comfortably the favorite. So I think I'm keeping Igbuka just slightly.
Okay, and what about this one, Judkins or Breece? Just a quick one, gut reaction. Who are you going with?
I love both of them. I think
both are good. Yeah,
I think Breece Hall is right around that RB12 mark for me rest of the season. I think Judkins is around that RB10 mark. I like both of them. Braylon Allen is going to be out 8 to 12 weeks, so that's almost.
I think I go Breece.
Really?
Who do the Browns play this week? Let me just go back to the game. The Browns are playing the Steelers. Yeah, I'd go Judkins this week against the Steelers. I love Breece as well. Both are great. I think you're starting both. If you don't have to start both, that's a luxury. But let's answer this question for Kevin. Bunch of questions for you. Injuries. How long do you think Godwin, Evans, Kittle, and Pearsall will be out, and Mike Carter or Chase Brown? I think I would go with Michael Carter over Chase Brown. I know they got Flacco, but honestly, he's been bad as well. But let's see here. Godwin, he should be back, what do we think, next week probably? How hurt is Godwin?
Chris Godwin doesn't even have a questionable tab, so I'm interested why he's saying when will he be back.
Okay, I was gonna say he should be back. If he's hurt a little bit, then he should be back. Evans, he was supposed to be out 4 weeks, I think. So we probably got another week or two for Evans. Kittle could be back by week 7, so that's next week. And Pearsall could be back by week 7 as well. So good questions. Appreciate those.
Go ahead, Shay. Put Evans on the IR. So that makes it seem like more than likely he'll be back within the next 2 weeks.
Black Knight says, loaded question. Start to Johnston, Bill, Sutton, Warren, AJ Brown, or Worthy. Man, I think Sutton has earned himself a starting spot. I know he's facing Sauce Gardner, but I think Sutton has definitely earned himself a starting spot. And then, so for me, it's between Johnston, Warren, and probably Bill Cross-Kamara, Xavier Worthy. Tough one there. And what I would say, Black Knight, is you need to make some trades here because you have too many good players that you're benching. If you're going to bench Worthy and A.J. Brown, send them both to someone that needs a running back or someone that needs wide receivers and take their best running back. If you have Bill Cross-Kamara or Jaylen Warren and Xavier Worthy to someone with a bad record that has like one stud that if they have a bad week or a bye week, they just lose, trade them 2 players and get one in return. You have to make that move. I don't think you can really go wrong. Shay, is there anyone that stands out to you as a second guy to start or anybody you definitely don't want to start out of this list?
For me, I think Quinn Johnson. I think Quinn Johnson is kind of standing out above the rest. Yes, he had a down week, but before that, this guy was on an absolute
He was
heater.
elite, yeah. He was
He gets to go against a Dolphins secondary that, I mean, guys, try to name 2 DBs in that Dolphins room. I mean, I guess Minka now, but I don't know. That Dolphins secondary looks rough. I think Quinn Johnson is about to have a really good bounce back game.
Yeah, let's check the matchup tab real quick to see how the downfield wide receivers have been doing. Michael Pittman Jr. had a really strong week. Not so good for the Patriots. That was all right. Shakir, the Bills don't really have a great downfield guy, to be honest. Wilson had a great week last week. So I think that's a good call. Tet had a decent week as well. So, yeah, Quentin Johnston definitely could have a good week.
Yeah, I think that is kind of inflated by Shakir, not really a downfield guy. And then week 2, Diggs was still ramping back up. And then really the main guy was Kayshon Boutte. Yeah.
And we got Tongus or Taylor. I would go Taylor. Tongus is a good play as well, but Taylor, just 12 targets. It's like hard to beat that. I think. Any issue with that, Shay? I know Tongus had a great week in week 5.
Yeah, I was about to say Jake Tonges, I think, had double-digit targets as well.
Did he? Did he have double-digit targets? I just thought he had 2 touchdowns. Let's check.
He had 11 targets.
Oh my gosh! I take it back. I think he's just not as good, but he has a better matchup. So maybe do go with Tongus because they're playing Tampa Bay. He's got a better matchup. So I take the matchup. Good question, Kevin. And great call out, Shay.
It depends on if Juwan Jennings is out. If Juwan Jennings is out, I think you go Jake Tonges because once again, it's going to be Tonges and Kendrick Bourne running the show. I think if Jennings plays, which it's looking like he's not, he missed practice today. If Jennings doesn't play, go Tonges. If he does, go Mason Taylor.
Okay, so we were trying to go through every game, guys, and we got kind of stuck answering your questions, which is definitely a fun diversion. Let's jump on to the next game here. We're probably not going to get through them all, but guys, we appreciate you being in the chat. That's what's made it fun. Honestly, we're having more fun answering your questions than going game by game, but we're going to answer some more questions here. Next game is the Bengals. We'll skip the Titans and Raiders. I don't think we're really starting anybody there unless you have to. Ashton Genty, good start. Tony Pollard is all right. Obviously, that's a terrible game there. Not many questions. So let's jump to a game with the shorter time because we're going to end here in 8 minutes. Bengals and Packers. Shay, I'm just going to take the weight off of me on this one and send it over to you to start us off. We got Joe Flacco joining the team. I'll set you up, though. We got Joe Flacco joining the team. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown. So many question marks there. So I'm just going to get the overall feel. And this will kind of answer the question for everybody all at once. Joe Flacco versus Jake Browning, what percentage do you say this is an upgrade? Maybe it's 0% if you think it's exactly the same, or even if you think it's a downgrade. What do you think this does to all of the Bengals assets across the board here?
I would say for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, it is a 4% upgrade. Like
4%.
Almost nothing. And then
yes, I think so too.
Chase Brown, I would say it's like a 12 to 15% upgrade.
I agree. I think that's a great call out. Yeah, because if you guys saw the stats today, I'm sure you saw that as well. Joe Flacco really heavily targets the running back.
Yeah, I mean, I made a video about it that I believe he averaged over 8 to 9 targets per game.
Yeah, it's right there. Yep.
Yeah, in the first 3 weeks, he was under center. And he also, shout out Ravens Walter Picks, comment on my video saying, if you watch Joe Flacco, he has a couple F it we ball plays where he just throws it downfield. It's either a touchdown, a pick, or a PI. So I think that could help Jamar Chase because maybe one of those is a massive catch or a massive touchdown. It's just this Bengals offensive line is by far
horrible.
The worst. And now they have to go against the Packers, Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary. They are going to get eaten alive. So I don't feel super comfortable. Definitely don't feel comfortable starting T. Higgins. Jamar Chase, you probably don't have the luxury to bench him.
Yeah. I would agree.
Then Chase Brown, as a flex play, don't hate it this week because I think Flacco, they're going to be coming after him. He's going to have to check the ball down or he's going to get sacked. So, yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, then we had a question from Thenny. Thenny, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. Njoku or Hollywood Brown at the flex. I would go to Njoku, personally. He had 9 targets last week. Hollywood is not getting the same amount there. So I appreciate you hanging out, asking that question. By the way, guys, if you do have questions, I appreciate you asking them here, but we do have it covered in the Walter Picks app as well for any start sits. You can sync your league so it knows your league settings. I don't know your league settings either. If it's full, I think Njoku wins in all settings, to be honest. But we have some good questions there where you want to have your league synced. By the way, guys, you can get this in the profile. You can use code LION to support Shay as well. And that's going to get you a free trial. Make sure you get access to a free trial. 7 days. Try all the premium features, including the prop evaluator as well. We got this question here, Shay. Would you trade Ceedee Lamb for Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs? Ceedee Lamb, I think I'll just kind of say the logic here. Ceedee Lamb, it could be like a 20 to 24 point per game kind of guy, like best in the league. The Cowboys have looked amazing. Ceedee Lamb has looked good when he played. Nico, he hasn't been getting the most receptions. He's around like 4 to 6 per game. Diggs has been looking great. Would you make this trade? I assume that he's got a poor record. I'll just guess. I'm sorry, Steven, if you're doing awesome. I hope you are. But if you have Ceedee Lamb, that was your top pick, and he's been missing most of the season. So, Shay, would you make that trade for Nico and Diggs? Nico is on bye this week, by the way.
Yeah, for me, I don't hate that, especially if you need a flex. I think Stephon Diggs is a borderline top 15 wide receiver.
He could be, yeah.
Right around there. I think Nico Collins has kind of gotten the short end of the stick, especially like last week. They were up by so much. By the third quarter, they kind of took out Nico Collins and were cycling in some other guys like
That's true.
Noel, Jaden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson, got a lot of work. So I feel like Nico Collins, we see week 3 in a very close game that went down the wire. He had 8 catches. He had 11 targets. I think we could see him have a lot of those games. His schedule doesn't look great over the next 3 weeks. So I don't hate that move, though. I think it's pretty good, especially if you need a flex. Adding Diggs is great.
So we got one question here. We got Scatterboo for Chase Brown. And we got Chase Brown as a slight advantage, slight best player bonus, which is really means this trade is essentially dead even.
That's surprising to me. We have Chase Brown ahead of Scat.
Yeah, I think the Flacco, we upgrade our projections instantly, and I think this definitely helped a little bit, and Tyrone Tracy's coming back. So I think that's the big question mark this week is how good do the Bengals look, and how much does Tyrone Tracy take from Scatterboo? And I think right now there's a better chance that Chase Brown just gets the 5 catches a game and is now pretty decent, and maybe they're a little bit better. But yeah, you can. I don't think you have to. I think that's a fine question. Let's also do this next one from the Black Soldier here. We got Jamar and Ladd for Pearsall and Pearsall for Adunze and London. I think I'd go the Adunze London side, but let's check this out. Now, I'm not a huge believer in Jamar Chase. Now, the Walter Picks app, it's a team effort, and the team effort definitely better than one individual, but I'm a little bit lower on Jamar Chase than some people are. I love Pearsall as well, but I think you're kind of trading because let's say Ladd, he's probably on the bench for you, right? You're not even playing him. So you're kind of Adunze in London versus Jamar and Ladd. I'd rather have Adunze in London. But let's check this out in the trade. Adunze's been great as well. Adunze, and let's add London as well. And let's see what the Walter Picks app says. Guys, and you can sync your league and just pick the players. But since I want it to be full PPR, I want to show this to you. Analyze trade. And I don't have it synced in, but this says the Ladd McConkey, Ricky Pearsall, Jamar Chase side is better. Now, one advanced tip to use the trade analyzer though is if you're just going to start 2 of the players, these 2 players rank higher than any 2 players on this side combined. Right? So Rome Odunze in London, if you're saying Ladd's on my bench or Pearsall's on my bench or I need players now, these 2 players rank higher than any 2 players on this side. So if one of these guys is on your bench, I would still do the trade, even though you're technically losing by trade value. It'll help your starting lineup. And if you have your league synced, it will tell you that as well in the Walter Picks app. You need the premium, but you can get a free trial with code LION. Shay, would you accept this trade? And do you agree with the logic there, or do you think that you always want to get the best trade value because maybe you could then piece things together and get some different trades going?
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, Seth. You guys need to be syncing your league because then, most of the time when I'm making a trade, I'm probably losing it off of the trade value, but I'm doing it because it's helping my starting lineup. And what do you need to get wins? You need your starting lineup.
Yeah, certainly.
Points, not your bench. So for me, that is a slam accept. I think Odunze and London are right around that wide receiver 6 and 7 range for me the rest of the season.
Yeah, Adunze's been so good. And guys, we're not going to get through every game. Make sure you hit that follow button and the subscribe because we got you covered on TikTok. We also have start sits posted here on YouTube. We're going to answer a couple more questions because, guys, you that have been here, we appreciate you. Make sure you hit that subscribe. We got just 1 or 2 more minutes here. But I like this question. Pittman, BTJ, or Devonta Smith? I think I'm between Pittman and Devonta Smith because BTJ honestly hasn't earned the start for me. I think I'd go Pittman. Would you go Pittman, Shay?
Completely agree. I think Pittman is easily above both of them this week.
Bryce, I'll let you go first on this one, Shay. Bryce, and we'll go rapid fire here. Golden, Godwin, or Henderson in full PPR?
I don't know if I can do rapid fire with this one. This one's tough. Man, I think I'm leaning Golden just because I think he has the highest upside of the 3.
I think he's got the most upside. I think I'd go Godwin just because I think the targets are going to be a little bit better, and the Buccaneers have been passing like crazy. But I think Golden does have probably better upside, so I would agree there.
Godwin has had 5.6 points in both the last 2 weeks.
How many targets did he have, though?
Both weeks he had 3 catches. He had 10 targets in one and then 4 in the other.
Okay, so he had 4 targets last week. So maybe it is Golden. I think I'd go Golden with the comparison. Wyatt says, should I trade Garrett Wilson for Ceedee Lamb? Let's assume Wyatt has a good record. Would you make the trade if Wyatt's got a good record right now?
I wouldn't. I actually would keep Garrett Wilson. I think kind of the same thing I was saying with Rashee Rice. I think we could see Ceedee come back and ramp up snap share as like the next 3 to 4 weeks. So for me, I think I'm keeping Garrett Wilson.
All right. And I want to know what you do with it, what you think about this one. And guys, I think this is we'll let Shay say what he thinks first. You're 1-4. You traded Hampton, who's going to be out at least 4 weeks, and Adunze for JSN. What do you think, Shay? Do you think that was a good move? Do you think you should have tried to hold on?
See, this is why you need to use the Walter Picks app, because I can tell you my take, but I don't know your running back room. I would love to hear your running back room after giving up Hampton. But I mean, JSN is the wide receiver 2 for me rest of the season, right behind Puka. That's it. I mean, if you look at the advanced statistics, their targets per route run numbers, Puka and JSN are by far above any other player. I think Garrett Wilson's up there in the top 3, but I like that move. And that sucks for me to say, as I love Omarion Hampton, but now he's going to miss at least 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's a great move as well, because you got to try to make playoffs. And JSN is a playoff winner as well. He's a playoff winner. I'm just going to analyze the trade. I assume it's going to say you lost the trade, but for the next 4 weeks, you won the trade, right? Because you got an upgrade off of Rome Odunze. You won the trade for the next 4 weeks, and I think that's what you need. You need to try to make playoffs. Let's see what else we got here. We'll enter just a couple more. Dak or Caleb Wilson? I think I'm going to go Dak there.
Caleb Wilson.
Or Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams.
Let's see. The matchup, so that's close for me, honestly. Caleb Williams.
It is close. It's a good question.
Let me look at the matchups tab. I would actually go Caleb Williams Monday night against Washington. Washington hasn't been great against quarterbacks. I'd go Caleb Williams this week.
Yeah, it's a tough one. The Washington's a difficult one because they've been missing Jaden Daniels. So it's like opening up the door a little bit for the opponent. But I think that either one's a good start. Caleb's been really good. And the Bears, were they on bye last week, right?
Yeah, so coming off a bye.
Ben Johnson off the bye week. I do not want to be in that game. So I think that's a good call.
The one other thing I want to point out is, the Cowboys are more than likely going to be winning against the Panthers. Maybe we see another crazy Panthers performance against the Falcons like they had. But that game script is not helping Dak Prescott's passing volume for fantasy. So I'd go Caleb. But yeah, I think you can be comfortable starting both of them.
Wow. Cam Yard says Achane, Genty, White, Brees, or his other running backs. So you're in good shape, man. Brees is stepping it up, and White is stepping it up. Genty's stepping it up. So it's no surprise you're 1-4 with Genty and Brees on your roster, and Hampton as well, who was bad the first 3 weeks. Like, everyone on your roster was bad the first 3 weeks. But honestly, I think that's an awesome move. Yeah, great play.
And the last 2 weeks, he's been loving it until that Hampton.
Yeah, you're killing it now. Now you're crushing it, man. And you had Hampton as well. So you did a great job in your draft. All right, guys, that's going to end it for us here. I appreciate you guys staying on a few extra minutes here. Make sure you hit that subscribe to get this live every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Sunday, and these YouTube videos we're pumping out for you guys every single week. And if you have any more start-sit questions, guys, check out the Walter Picks app. You can analyze your trades. You get help with your start-sits. Anything that you need to win in fantasy football, we've got it in the app, as well as the prop evaluator as well. And again, use code LION, get yourself a free trial, and get a win this week. We'll see you later.